Hello and welcome to the Easy Odds Premier League video cast. We're back for another week. Gone away from the FA Cup, thank God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a big fan of the FA Cup, but back in the big business now.
Premier
Premier League.
We did well.
We still did well, money-wise, but
5 out of 9.
Yeah. Derby almost lost to Hartlepool, which was kind of horrible.
It didn't. That's the most important.
Bristol City. Should we want to talk about that? Or?
Well, we drew. That's okay.
It was good, but I mean, last minute.
We're on the telly on Tuesday.
Ooh.
Hello.
That's nice. That's very nice. Things are looking up.
Things are looking
basically. Okay, so we're going to the first match between Spurs and Sunderland. Spurs, everything was going really well for them until midweek when they lost to Leicester, which was unbelievable. I was certain Spurs. Leicester just keep surprising me.
Absolutely.
They're just completely full of surprises. No matter how many times I think, they're going away now, they just pop up with a win away at Tottenham.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
And Sunderland look dead and buried. Big Sam's dragging them from the bottom of the Premier League to probably safety, I reckon. So, yeah. But what do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, I think it could be an interesting match here. Obviously, there's quite a few ties with the likes of Jermaine Defoe playing for Sunderland. But I actually think that 21 to 20 on a best price of both teams to score looks good value here. Surprisingly, Sunderland have actually scored in each of the last 7 away games, and that's pretty impressive for a Sunderland team that are widely thought of as whipping boys away from home. And with Jermaine in form now, he scored 5 goals in his last 2 Premier League games, including a hat-trick at Swansea. He's up against his old team, so he'll be eager to score. He always seems to score against his old team, because he's played for just so many.
Yeah, he's always playing against his old team, that's why he always scores. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And Sunderland have got a fairly impressive front 5 now to choose from in terms of Watmore, who's a really impressive young player. Lenz has proved to be probably their best signing of the summer. Jermaine, and they've just brought in Ndoye, who was at Hull last season, scored a few goals in the Premier League, and even Fletcher's starting to score some goals now for Sunderland.
Yeah.
And also on this bet, no clean sheet in 4 now for Tottenham Hotspur, and Sunderland are coming off the back of scoring 4 goals away at Swansea in midweek. So I actually think 21 to 20 is the best bet here on both teams to score, unlike just backing Tottenham to win, because they look far too short at 4 to 11. They have lost none of their last 11 matches against Sunderland, so you would expect them to win here. But it's possible that Sunderland could scrape a draw. 4 to 11 just looks far too short for a Tottenham team that seems to be a little bit out of form at the moment. Lost their last 2 at home in the Premier League, drawn also in the FA Cup at home, so they've actually won none of the last 3 at White Hart Lane. And of course, no team have conceded more away goals from home than the Black Cats. But I do think that both teams to score here is 21 to 20 best price, best tip, rather than going for a home win at a really short price of 4 to 11.
Yeah, 4 to 11. No, that is ridiculous. It should not be 4 to 11. Absolutely no chance. I think Sunderland are better at home, but 4 to 11 is just too short.
Far too short to be too confident about.
And now we're going to a derby of sorts, Villa versus Leicester. I mean, I still have hope that Villa are going to go down, even though they managed to scrape a draw against Crystal Palace.
What is it, 8 points now off the...
8 points, off of Swansea.
17th place.
But I don't know how they beat Crystal Palace. I think what happened was it got so bad for them that it got worse and worse and worse. There was Remy Gard just doing loads of weird things. The bus thing where all the fans were just having a go at the players. That's good video. But so they were at the bottom, so they just thought we can't get any worse, so we might as well just win against Crystal Palace, who are the best away team in the league, one of the best away teams in the league.
Yeah.
So what do you think is happening here, Ross?
Well, I do think that you have to take an option here of backing a team that are joint top of the Premier League to beat a team that are bottom of the Premier League at 6 to 5. When you consider the price available for Tottenham for Sunderland 4 to 11, Leicester of course have drawn against Tottenham and beaten Tottenham in the last week, and they're 6 to 5 to beat an Aston Villa team that have won just 4 of their last 19 matches against Leicester. Leicester have now now kept 3 clean sheets in a row. So whereas previously they were just outscoring teams, still letting in goals, but managing to win games 3-2, 4-3, that type of scoreline. Even better now for Ranieri, they're starting to keep clean sheets. And if they can keep clean sheets, then they're bound to win more games than not, because, of course, you're not letting in any goals. Villa, meanwhile, have only scored 8 goals in their last 11, so they could find playing up against this newly improved Leicester back line pretty tricky here. And, of course, they are coming off the back of a win against Crystal Palace, as you alluded to, Jake. But it was a fairly fortunate one, not in terms of how the game went. You would probably argue that Villa warranted their win, but it was a very fortunate goal. Wayne Hennessy made that mistake to let it through his hands and his legs. That doesn't happen every game, so you would expect normally in that game that it would have ended 0-0, and Villa wouldn't have won that game. But it's a little glimmer of hope for them, and they have won 3 or 4 versus Leicester. But this season they're just so poor, and you just cannot bank on them at any point really. Even to beat Wickham in the FA Cup, they have failed to beat Wickham. So Leicester, in-form Leicester, keeping clean sheets, almost top of the league, 6-5 to go to Villa Park, who are against a Villa team who are bottom of the league. Looks a very good price, and I think that's my best bet.
That's unbelievable. When you look at the Spurs, like you said, 4-11. Leicester 6-5. The bookies just don't know what to do with them, do they? They're just kind of pricing up a middle ground between a good team and not that good team. It's pretty confusing times in the Premier League right now. Okay, now it's the big one of the weekend. One of the biggest games of the season. They've been going on about on Sky Sports. Liverpool are going to want to win this big. Man United are going to want to win this big as well. Liverpool versus Man United. What's going to happen?
Yeah, it is always one of the biggest ties of the Premier League season. Liverpool at Anfield up against Man United. But I do think that Liverpool are pretty good value here at 13-10. Man United have won just 2 of their last 11 games, and those 2 games were home against Swansea, who are pretty much high and dry at the moment. As Paul Merson said on Sky Sports News, they're on a glass mountain wearing slippers at the moment, which is, I still don't quite know what that means, but I think it means that they're rubbish.
It's something like that. On a glass mountain, wearing slippers. That's what
so those 2 wins for Man United in the last 11 games came against Swansea in a kind of a late winner from Rooney, and an even later win against Sheffield United, League One Sheffield United with a penalty. So they're hardly in good form coming into this game. Anfield is going to be absolutely rocking for this one. They're looking to avenge the 3-1 loss from last season. From earlier in the season at Old Trafford. And with the way that Klopp plays with his heavy metal football, which has caused a fair few hamstring injuries because he's working players so hard with their work rate. But it is an effective style of play, and I do fancy them to outwork and outmuscle Man United, because at the moment Man United are so pedestrian on the ball, can't seem to get any kind of good rhythm going. And up against a Liverpool side that are going to hammer them and pressure them, I just think that Liverpool are going to suck too many goals into that net because just for pure pressure. And I do think that 13-10 on a team to beat this Man United team, which of course is hardly inspiring at the moment. No. At home with Anfield behind them, I really fancy a Liverpool win here. But if you want to look further into this market, there's actually been 18 penalties in this match in Premier League history. 18, which is quite a lot. It's actually only beaten by Spurs v Everton, where there's been 19. Thank you, Opta, for those stats. So if you want to have a little punt on a penalty scorer, Rooney's available at 11-4. Of course, he's finally finding a bit of form.
Yeah, he's been much better recently. That goal he's got against Newcastle.
Really good.
Classic Rooney goal, that.
Classic Rooney goal,
absolute classic.
Of course, Liverpool have let in 3 goals against Arsenal and looked quite shaky at the back. So a Rooney goal from either a penalty or just open play, 11-4, or on the Liverpool side, if you think they'll get a penalty, Milner at 5-1 looks a pretty decent bet as well.
Are those both any time?
Both any time.
Okay, nice. 11-4's good for Rooney, I think.
Yeah. So my best bets there are Liverpool 13-10 using that odds comparison service, and Rooney and Milner at any time scorers.
Very decent.
Yeah.
Very decent prices, those ones. Yeah, Rooney's been a lot better. Liverpool, they just seem to do it against the big teams, don't they?
Yeah, they always raise the game.
They've been the Klopp factor has really
absolutely
ingrained into them at the moment.
I hope that they score at least 1 goal, because his celebrations are absolutely spectacular.
His celebration in slow motion against Arsenal when they went draw 3-3 was so funny. So good. Anyway, Last game we're covering today is Stoke versus Arsenal. Stoke, we seem to talk about them every week, but they've been really a completely different team, obviously, than they have been in the previous seasons. They've been on really good form recently. Arsenal, I mean, they're on good form. Obviously, they've been on good form all season, but they're kind of, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to predict them, I think.
It's quite hard
You think, they're definitely going to win, and then they just lose 4-0 to Southampton out of nowhere. Or they draw 3-3 with Liverpool, who are on awful form. So, but what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, it's actually really, as you say, two kind of inconsistent teams in terms of performance-wise. Stoke at times look absolutely brilliant, and at other times look really, really poor.
Yeah.
Arsenal sometimes look like finally this is their season, and then they'll put in a performance like they did at Southampton and lose 4-0, and you think no, they're going to mess it up again. And that's the reason that I'm actually going to stay away from Arsenal to win this game at even money. Arsenal have won just one of their 7 matches at the Britannia. They absolutely hate this ground. It's the elements, it's the style of play, it's that vociferous crowd, and it seems to get on Arsenal's backs every single time, and they can't seem to do with it, no matter what squad they put out there. But is this Stoke that kind of Stoke? Mark Hughes seems to be trying to change the way that Stoke play this season.
Yeah.
I heard James Richardson on Football Weekly say that Stoke are like that first girlfriend that you dumped because she wasn't good looking, and then you bump into her 4 years later and she's blossomed. Which is kind of what's happened. But
and she's turned into Shaqiri.
Yeah, or Shakira.
She's turned into Shakira. That'd be better. You go out with Shaqiri, 4 months later he turns up and he's turned into Shakira. That's such a good, nice little thing.
There you go. Yeah. So, but this Stoke team this season has done Stoke to other teams in terms of just grounding out a decent result. Look no further than their 2-0 win over Man City earlier in the season at the Britannia.
Yeah.
However, they have gone into other games where I thought they would actually win, like up against Liverpool, and they've lost 1-0, and they're quite hard to gauge as well.
Yeah.
But there's some good stats here to say that don't back Arsenal to win. Mark Hughes is actually unbeaten in his last 8 home matches against Arsene Wenger. That's a really good stat.
Very good stat.
Plus, Arsenal have now conceded 7 goals in their last 2 games away from home. That's Southampton and Liverpool. 7 goals in 2 games. That is not a good sign.
No.
If you're an Arsenal fan going to matches away from home. So evens for me is too short, and I'm going to actually back Olivier Giroud at 3-2, which is a bigger price than Arsenal to win. Just for him to get on the score sheet. He's in absolutely brilliant form. I love watching him play at the moment. His form, his power with back to goal is great, and also his finishing is finally coming up trumps. He scored 20 goals this season. He's got great confidence. He's in great form, and I think at a price of 3-2, he's the best bet there, rather than backing
he's still underrated, isn't
either
he?
team to
now.
score this. Yeah, I actually had a quick look in terms of top goal scorer for Euro 2016, and he's actually 3rd favourite at the moment at 8-1. That's not a bad shout.
No,
if he stays in this
France will go quite far for sure as well. They've got a pretty good team, haven't they?
Yeah. So those are my 4 tips for this weekend. I've got Olivier Giroud to score against Stoke at 3-2. I've got Liverpool to beat Man Utd at 13-10. Leicester to beat Aston Villa at 6-5, and both teams to score in the Tottenham and Sunderland game. And a £10 bet using the Easy Odds app on an accumulator of those 4 will pay out £242.
Oh!
So fingers crossed for Easy Odds Premier League tips video Aki win on the weekend.
That'll be a good bit of money after Christmas.
Absolutely.
Win it all back. I had Giroud to score and Arsenal to win at 4-1 price boost.
Oh, unbelievable!
I was absolutely crying.
Joe Allen, you've got a lot to answer for.
Joe Allen, aka Perlo in disguise. Oh, nightmare.
So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope that you use easyodds.com for your betting this weekend, whether it be on the app or on desktop. Make sure you read all of our tips on the editorial side in app and on desktop, and all the best with your bets this weekend. I've been Ross Casey, and this guy is Jake Johns, and he's on fire with his horse racing tips, so make sure you read those as well. All the best, and
one more thing, we've got the Cheltenham Roundtable next week.
Oh, there you go.
Remember to watch that. We've got our first Cheltenham preview next week. Paul Jacobs will be here. Newts will be here. Should be pretty good. Get a nice few things that you might not know already. which seems to be in all the other videos. So hopefully we'll give you a couple of good tips for the big races.
Absolutely. All the best and enjoy our Cheltenham video next week.
Bye!